Good morning, everyone. 20 minutes left. Boo! Looks like we're gonna have to delete some footage. We are using the Android. Little downfall of our previously used video device. However, it is our backup in the moment, and we do require our backup, seeing as we do have a shout out. This morning's wonderful podcast slash YouTube video hosted by none other than the Josh Satin. I like a lot of his videos. It's a little morning, how to start your lettuce seeds, how to start your transplants, and why we're not growing. So yeah, good video. It's like, I've already watched half of it. It's a great video. Lots of tips. Good channel. Gaming it up this morning. Good morning. You have a brother coming over. We're going to be cleaning all day. Probably going to take doggy on a walker. Probably gonna do some exercising. Get out a little bit into the sun. It'll be a great day. Follow along. This is going to be fun. But shh, because the roommates are still sleeping. Yeah, anyway. Game on like Donkey Kong.
So one thing I really want to address on this YouTube channel is being very transparent, very honest with everybody. That's sort of how I am anyways. So the mix I'm doing right now is 70% Deer, 15% Cherokee, and 15% Magenta. And that mix might change over the course of the season if I don't like the way it's looking or performing or whatever. But that's what I'm going with right now. And the other part is the seed cost was really not a big factor in this. And you got to think about it a little bit differently than, well, I have to pay $200 or $500 or whatever at the beginning of the season to get your lettuce seeds. Now, each bed is 50 feet long, and I get about 50 pounds off the first cut. On average, if I'm, let's say, getting $10 a pound, that's $500 in sales off that one bed. And how much were the seeds? A few bucks? Doesn't really matter. So get the seeds that are right for you, your context, what your customers like, what grows well, that sort of thing. So now that these are all full, I'm just going to cover them up with a little bit more soil. A lot of people use vermiculite. I haven't tried that yet. It looks cool. This has just been working for me. So I just put a thin layer, real thin, and I can't stress that enough. You want to make sure the seeds are covered, but you don't want it too thick because it gives the seeds a little bit more effort to push through. But having a little bit of soil on the top really helps keep the seeds moist, allows them to germinate really well. Just going to cover them up. And when I'm smoothing it out here, I'm being real gentle because if I pull too hard, I'll pop the seeds right out. So you want to be real gentle while you're spreading out the soil. And you'll get a feel for this after you do a few rounds. Really, none of this is super complicated. This is just sort of what I've seen to be working well for me. I'm sure everyone does this differently. That's just how I do it.
Yeah.
And if you're a beginning farmer or gardener, it's cool to just see how other people are doing things. But it's also cool if you've been doing it for a while because everyone sort of does it a little bit differently and you go, hey, I like that, or I think that guy's crazy, or whatever. So anyways, they're all covered up now. You can see this doesn't take too long. The most challenging part is just focusing while you're singulating the seeds. Now I have to say is take your time with that. You don't want to put more than one seed in each hole for a few reasons. One is they won't grow as well if they both germinate. You should be shooting for pretty much 100% germination on all these seeds by the time you get everything dialed in. And then if you do have multiple seeds in each cell, then you have to spend time thinning them afterwards, which just doesn't make any money. It's just a waste of time. So one seed per cell. So lawns, and a couple things to keep in mind here is that you don't want to spray right on the tray because it'll disturb the soil and cause all the seeds to come out and just create a mess. So you want to move it gently across, and when you turn directions, you want to be past the trays. I didn't pre-moisten the soil when I put the soil into the trays, so I'm going to give it 2 serious soakings, and then I'll move them inside under lights. You can see the head on this is very gentle, but it does put down quite a bit of water. So if you put one really, really heavy soaking on, what's going to happen is that the soil won't absorb it all. So we'll put it soaking on, let it sit for a second, and then do another one.
Oh my goodness.
Here's the second watering.
Did go the wrong way. Wow.
Another tip here is use these little tags. I can't remember anything, so with everything going on, you gotta write things down. You're never gonna remember. They aren't expensive. They're, I don't know, maybe 5 cents a piece. I use them several times. If it's the same plant, I just change the date on it, or I cross out and use the other side. So I get multiple uses out of each one. I just find it's easy to keep track of things when you get confused about what tray got started when. So make sure you label everything. So sorry to kind of loud in the background. Those guys leaf blowing and mowing lawns. I live in the suburbs, so it's like constant noise over here, especially on the weekends. So I use solid trays without holes underneath because I grow these inside and I bottom water. So I just transfer them onto the solid trays and then bring them inside. Now, I struggled a lot with germination with lettuce last year, and a couple little pointers helped me a lot. Temperature is crucial. I think like 70 to 72 degrees Fahrenheit is just about perfect for lettuce. Got great success there. The other thing is I don't use those little dome cover things. I just take a spray bottle with some water, and I just mist it a couple times a day until it starts to germinate. If everything's going right, it should be 3 or 4 days max to get these guys to germinate, and then I'll start bottom watering. So we'll move all these guys inside, and I'll show you some succession of lettuces at different times to see what they should look like. Temperature is crucial for germination, as I said. So in the summertime, this is in my garage. I keep the air conditioner on here to keep it cool. And I literally just use, as I said, a spray bottle with water. I don't need to do this right now because I just put these in here, but I'll just go ahead and mist these a couple times a day to keep them moist. All right, so this is some lettuce that I planted 1 week ago. You see, I pretty much got 100% germination, which is great.
Beautiful.
And I'm going to bring these under the lights, as I said. You can see the solid tray here. And I'm bottom watering. And with bottom watering, you don't want to overwater because then the soil gets super soggy. So I just watch it, and when I look under there and there's no water, I add a little bit of water. It seems to work really, really well. This is 2+ trays, so this will be enough for 1 bed. All right, so after, I'd say about 2.5 weeks is what's working well for me. I take them from inside under the lights and bring them out here. This is a kind of embarrassed by this, but I saw this idea from a couple guys, and it just seemed to work at the moment. Long term, I like to get a real nursery, but this is just a 4-foot by 8-foot platform with, I had some extra greenhouse plastic, and I used some PVC here and created this little, I don't know what you call this, a mini greenhouse type thing, and this is on one of our decks here, and it gets some good light, and it's been working, but I use this for hardening off, and that is a crucial step in getting your transplants out into the field. If they don't spend time outside and you go right from inside to outside, the plants will not survive. They will not grow strong. It will be way more transplant shock.
Beautiful.
And so one of the best things you can do about being successful at growing lettuce is cut, obviously, but start with a really good transplant. So these guys here are, I'd say, about 2.5 weeks old, and you can see they're pretty big, nice and strong.
Aww.
And I just moved these out this morning to make room for the trays that we just planted. Now they'll be out here for, I would say, a minimum of 5 days, but you can extend that out depending on what you got going on outside on the field, what the weather's like, what you have room for. Did you have time to prep those beds? That sort of thing. I wouldn't really go much further than a total of 3.5 to 4 weeks. You're kind of pushing it at 4 weeks from seeding time until transplanting. If the lettuces aren't looking good and strong, don't transplant them. Start over. Make sure you get it right, because otherwise you're just wasting space in the field. Unless you have lots of extra space. I don't. I really cram in as much as I can.
I have space.
So part of the hardening off process is getting them used to being outside, getting them used to the wind. This thing right
Except
here,
indoors, and I
I
don't have any
so
cash.
in the evening, if it's really
This is
chilly,
still kind of
I can
bad,
pull it down,
isn't it?
but
I was hoping to be a little bit more forward. This is funny because this is the first time I'm looking at the camera.
Before they get transplanted out into the field. Hey, so I hope you enjoyed this video about how to start seeds, how to
Well, I
get
got
them
work
germinate,
to
how
do,
to
as
get
you can
transplants ready
see,
to go out
so
into the field. I know we talked mainly
I
about
gotta
lettuce because that's
stay
most of what I
focused.
grow.
I might be getting up here in a
When we talk
minute,
about other things as they come about on the farm
just
over the
because
course
I
of the
earned a
season.
bag of shiny
So,
things.
please like this video, share
And
with your
I've
friends,
completed
hit
50
subscribe.
quests.
I'd like to try to get this information out to as many people as possible, and I need
And
your
the
help.
dazzling sapphire
Still gonna try to
pendant.
shoot for that 1 to 2
And the bright
videos a week
bauble.
kind of thing as I have time between running the farm, Instagram, all other things
One
going on.
silver,
being a
36
dad
copper.
and a good husband. So feel free to comment and
Good
get
guy
involved in
right
the
here.
conversation. I have a pretty nice list of topics that I'd like to cover, so I'm going to try to work through that as quickly as I can and take your suggestions for you guys. So hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
See you too. Then, of course, there's always this gentleman. Yeah.
Hey everybody,
Did I level
welcome
up
back
yet?
to another
And
Nature's
I
Voice
leveled
Ride
up.
video. Today I'm at my parents' house because, as you guys know, recently I shut down my urban farm.
Nature's always right. I believe I should have earned something. Over 3 seconds, 33-second cooldown. Yeah. So, we're about to do some training. I'm already where I need to be. Just one more level to get everyone on point, then I'm going to start. I don't know if I'll delete somebody. I may at the end of the upgrade of everyone to see who just won't cut it. One of the 12. But our tank, Mr. Organator over here. No. That's our organ. Tank, Mr. Weisengrunt, is also taking the form of a bear at the moment. Has already been upgraded. And still wouldn't stand a chance against the Wiz, who is our alliance tank specialist. I think our Worgen also has a pretty good. No, he doesn't. He's our cat druid. These guys are druids. Let's go over. I'm pretty sure I'm good. Not happy with where he's at. I mean, he upgraded. No more skills anywhere. We're just off somewhere. Alright. So, what's new? Bro's coming over in a bit. We will be cleaning up the living room. My next room. Coming soon to a video near you. I will be upgrading. I'll have much more luxurious space. Still putting tweaks on the floor plan. However, we will not be losing our main forte model This is the brother that actually built the bed that you are propped up on. So it'll be good to have some quality skill brought to the table. So yeah, we'll see. Lots of interesting things possibly. Catch you soon. See ya. Am I supposed to stop? Maybe we'll pause.